The over 300 Korean nationals who were detained by ICE, who were here on valid visas at the Hyundai plant in Georgia, returned safely back to South Korea on a chartered plane provided by the South Korean government. They arrived at the Incheon International Airport with a big warm welcome by South Koreans and South Korean news media outlets. Now, initially, the over 300 Korean nationals were scheduled to leave Georgia, scheduled to leave the United States on Wednesday. They had already scheduled the chartered plane. They had scheduled the buses to take the over 300 Korean nationals from the Immigration Detention Facility Center on the Georgia-Florida state line to the Atlanta Hartsfield and Jackson International Airport. However, the Trump administration stalled that process. Shocker. The Trump administration wanted to negotiate with South Korea to keep the over 300 Korean nationals who were here on valid visas. They wanted them to stay here and finish the jobs because they realized that these were people who had high-tech skilled labor that Americans could not do. And they were here to train Americans how to do the job once the plant was up and running and fully operational. The administration had promised that this incident would not happen again. These people would not be deported back and that these people could stay in the United States. The South Korean government made this a voluntary leave for the over 300 Korean nationals, and all but one wanted to go back to South Korea. I believe the one that wanted to stay in the United States is not staying to finish the job. They are staying to pack up their things and then head back to South Korea. The Trump administration and ICE also wanted these South Koreans to leave on the buses in shackles still and handcuffs. And so the South Korean government said, hell no, you're taking that off of our people and we're taking them on a bus because they did nothing wrong. You're not putting them in shackles and making a mockery out of us. Talks between Marco Rubio and the Foreign Affairs Minister Cho also stated that Marco Rubio would erase basically everything that happened at that ICE raid that happened at the Hyundai plant, and that the over 300 Korean nationals would be able to return to the United States without anything coming up on their side when they enter back into the United States. Usually there's a 5-year ban. Marco Rubio stated that they would not do that to the over 300 Korean nationals who were here on valid visas trying to do their jobs. Now, the three big chaebols, okay, the three most powerful, influential families in South Korea, which is Hyundai, LG, and Samsung, all had a meeting with the South Korean government, stating that they wanted a better visa process in order for them to return to the United States to do any business or investments with the United States moving forward. Along with SK Engineering, which does all the engineering for those three big companies, they are asking for a better and easier process of E2 visas, which are non-immigrant visas. The reaction to the Hyundai raid in Georgia in South Korea has been explosive and has had a bad effect on how South Koreans view Americans. There have been protests outside of the U.S. Embassy and a lot of chatter about how this has changed the relationship between South Korea and America. South Korean companies like Hyundai, LG, and Samsung, which are chaebols, are very hesitant on investing and doing any more business in America moving forward. The fallout from this has been astronomical. Governor Kemp of Georgia is scrambling right now because South Korea and these companies have invested billions into Georgia, and now it's gone. Also, the 360 that this administration has done because they realized that these people were here as highly skilled laborers who can do these jobs to train Americans, and realizing that we need them, has been very interesting to see this administration turn around and be like, well, maybe we do need them. And these people aren't what we thought they were, what we've been spewing out. Yeah. Anyway, I was really glad to see that the over 300 Korean nationals arrived back to South Korea safely, and they were greeted with a very big, warm welcome by South Korea. It made my heart warm to see that and to see like Koreans come together.
It's amazing how a country would invite some experts to come train their people, and ICE, when they arrested all of them, detained them and deported them. And the most annoying part of it is the fact that they were arrested and they were handcuffed like prisoners, like people that committed a crime, forgetting that it was the government that told them to come into America so that they can train the people, the skill that they've got, and of course they can plant a branch. So ICE was unaware. They went into the plant, on the plant, and picked every one of them, over 300 of them, and were arrested, handcuffed, detained. After a few days, they were released, and of course, they were deported. Let's go check out this video and I'll be right back. Content credits are given to original content of this video. And of course, if you love this content, do it to subscribe to my channel, hit that notification button, and get updated when I post videos, because I expect you to turn on the notification button. I'll be right back.
It looks like troops heading into war.
Chaos erupted at a U.S.-based Hyundai factory when ICE agents carried out a massive raid, detaining hundreds of South Korean nationals employed at the plant. According to officials, the raid was part of an ongoing federal crackdown targeting undocumented workers and companies suspected of violating immigration and labor laws. Witnesses say the factory floor descended into panic as dozens of officers poured into the facility, questioning employees and escorting many away in handcuffs. Early reports suggest hundreds of workers, mostly South Korean nationals, were taken into custody, though ICE has not confirmed the exact number. Some employees allegedly entered the U.S. on temporary visas that had expired, while others are accused of working without proper documentation. Hyundai, one of the world's largest automakers, released a brief statement saying it was cooperating fully with authorities, but did not comment on whether the company knowingly employed undocumented workers. Labor rights groups, however, have condemned the raid, calling it a heavy-handed assault on vulnerable workers and warning it could disrupt production lines across the U.S.
You are absolutely correct. We have some more details now why they delayed letting go of the 300 detainees from Hyundai factory in Georgia. There were two reasons. The US side insisted everyone should remain handcuffed during the transit from the detained center to the airport, which was about 5 hours. Their reasoning was that it was still the land of America and this was what they wished to do. And our side said absolutely not. They said this is absolutely not acceptable for our dignity and the public resentment from the Korean citizens. So this argument happened while they were handing over the belongings back, and everything was dropped from there. And the second reason, and the real reason, President Trump put on hold the voluntary departure of Korean workers and asked if they could remain in the United States. After President Trump recognized that the Korean workers were skilled workers, he asked the Korean side if they could continue to work in the States rather than send them back to Korea. Are you for real? President Trump instructed us to consider both options, allowing them to continue working in the States while educating and training American workers, as well as allowing them to return home. And guess what everyone chose?
We're getting the fuck out of here!
So here is how they responded. Our people are in shock and exhausted. They need to first return home immediately, and we will consider from there. So their goal was to make sure that no one has the deportation record, and they made that happen. Everyone is self-departure. And there were 3 Japanese nationals among them. They included them for the ride back home. You're welcome, Japan. So they left the detainee center about 5 hours ago, so the plane should be leaving really soon or it left already. I can't wait to hear more from the Korean side after everyone returns home. We will find out what really happened from their end. Follow for more.
그렇게 남아서 일하고 싶은 사람은 없었을 것 같아요. 지금 이렇게 상황 겪고 나서는 다음에도 다 같이 나갈까라는 생각도 좀 들기도 하고, 일단 비자는 어떻게 될지 모르겠지만은 굳이 좀 뭐 다시 나가야 될 사람은 또 나가야 되겠지만은 근데 지금 아직은 뭐 생각을 좀 해봐야 되겠습니다.
뉴스 통해서 구금되는 그뭐 결박해갖고 잡혀 들어가는 거 봤잖아요. 그걸 보고 그냥 그때부터는 이제 뭐 잠도 못 자고 뭐 그랬죠.
한국은 이런 대접 받으면 안 됩니다.
So, like I said at the intro, these guys came in to train Americans. They are from South Korea. Over 300 of them came into America to train the people. And of course, with the plan and the view that after they've trained the people, they will go back. And that's why they are called expatriate. But ICE went there, arrested them. Now, what is amazing, is it amazing? Actually, it's annoying actually to me, is the fact that how on earth would ICE not be aware that these guys are coming in at the president directive because he invited them to come and train Americans. So now the question is, what is the information lying about? Who are ICE reporting to? Who directs them to go on the street to pick people up? That's the question I'm asking. So shouldn't be that ICE would have been told that some guys are coming from South Korea and they'll be coming in to train people. So leave them. Don't. You know what is annoying? They went to their plant, on the plant, and picked them up. That simply means that ICE were always going every day on the road to just pick people up, irrespective of who you are. Maybe you come from a reason or they don't care. They will pick you up first, arrest you, detain you, arrest you. Then now the government is saying that, it's a misinformation. They can stay. And of course, those guys were saying, I don't know if I'm going to stay. Of course, I'm not going to stay if I'm the one, because for the fact that I'm arrested, I'm sure you guys have seen the video. They were arrested with chains in their hand and they were told to, they deported them, and they arrested them, detained them, and now deported them. These guys were coming to render a service to America. They were coming to train the people of America. They were coming as experts to invest into the country by training people. And now you detain them. You're not saying that, oh, sorry, it's not going to happen again. You guys can always come back. And of course, the government of Korea were like, wasn't expecting that treatment also from ICE or from America. And of course, he told them, okay, let them come back. And the deal is cancelled. They were going to plant Hyundai, they plan to have a plant. That's going to be huge. Hyundai does car manufacturing and some other IT, stuff that they are willing to train Americans about. And of course, the deal has been pulled up because South Korean president was not expecting the treatment that his people got from America. And of course, they were like, okay, let's spend the deal. And that's what happens. America has been losing a lot of contracts, a lot of deals from companies, from countries that were initially their partners. They've been losing, and that's why the job, look at the federal government job statistics that came, 22,000 less job. That is, they're in short of 20,000 jobs. So no job in America. A lot of people have gone back. Companies have relocated, and companies are saying they can't afford the tax and all that. They're losing. America is losing massively on the job opportunities, and this is one of them. And that is why a lot of Americans are saying they need a job. And guess what? As job are scarce, so also our expenses going high. Grocery prices are going high. Accommodation going up. Electricity bill going up. Virtually everything that makes an American to enjoy his day-to-day living in America has gone up. But guess what? Lower job, lower salary. Everything is on the nosedive. And these are the things that bring about people not to want to come to America because ICE picks them and embarrass them and just makes them feel uncomfortable. And in the long run, people are saying, I don't want to go to America. Let me go to somewhere else. Let me go to where I can feel like a human, like I can spend my money. I won't feel bad I'm spending. Imagine you just come to spend your money in a country and you first and foremost you're picked up by ICE and you're detained for days. And before they know that, oh, you're a foreigner or you're an expatriate or you've come to spend your money, you will have spent some days in ICE detention. That is not good. And that is what people are saying. We don't want to come to America again. America has lost a lot of money as a result of this Trump tariff, Trump's deportation plan, Trump's just limit. It's so sad, guys. Let me know what you think about this. I mean, let me know if you are in the situation whereby you were picked up by ICE, handcuffed, and detained. Are you still going to come back and say, okay, it was a mistake. Let me see what I can do and give my best to America? Will you still come back as a foreigner that is an expatriate? Will you still come back? Let the conversation begin at the comment section. Let me know what your view and your take is. And I'll be here. I'll be there to respond to everyone because this is so important to know what is happening around the world and around you and how to keep yourself abreast. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for watching. I love you guys. Bye bye.